you watch Alabaster, right?
Yeah.
Which is definitely political, but like not as aggressively, but it's about like resource deprivation, things like that. But then Skypiea, which
Alabaster's like hyper political. I thought that one's the one that most stands out. Like I'm not like this isn't like a smoke. I would just want to have more of this conversation. That's like crazy though, right? That's like crazy. Like Alabaster's insanely political. All right, let's get into this. So, today's topics. We're going to be talking about old friend of the longtime supporter of the stream, big time friend, old school friend of mine. I've known him for years. Hasan Abi. Hasan is cringe, all right, and we can't get away from it. Hopefully he fixes himself, but sometimes people just they just get involved. They just get deep into it.
arc.
But apparently, and I'm going to just double check this, but although I've seen it repeated, Hasan deeply believes that Luffy, Monkey D. Luffy of One Piece, is a terrorist, like an actual terrorist, right? Which is wild and untrue. And I'm going to get into it. I'm going to talk about a bunch about the series too, and basically give One Piece a review with the knowledge. I'm caught up. I read the whole thing starting in, I think I started in April. You know what I mean? I started in April. I was watching the show and then I gave up on it and started reading the manga. I have a lot of, not free time, but I have a lot of time to like read and stuff because unlike Hasan, I don't stream for like 12 to 16 fucking hours a day or whatever kind of insane fucking hours this guy keeps. The guy's fucking online all the time, and people have made this comment, and I'm kind of beholden to believe it. I don't know if he's ever actually experienced One Piece, like for real. Some people are suggesting he's just throwing talking points. Other people said he's probably read the wiki. I don't know. I read the wiki, I swear to God, like twice before I started. And even having read the One Piece Wikipedia, I still had no fucking idea what was going on, and then decided to read it. I have a habit before I jump into things. I have a habit of trying to read Wikipedia or like whole wikis on stuff so that I don't have to like experience the property. I'll do it to talk myself out of it and like watch some videos. Couldn't do it with One Piece. It was too fucking interesting. Started in East Blue. Watched through to Skypiea, and then it was just like too much, man. And then I read from there on. Water 7, fucking Gecko Moria, or Thriller Bark, whatever, all of it. I read it, so I'm in. I'm up. When I say I've read something, I've read it. I wasn't. You guys were here for the Shadiversity and the fucking Ben Shapiro's True Allegiance reviews, so you know, and I know I read shit. But apparently it was on this podcast. So let's see. Also, so this says Luffy is a terrorist. This is from somebody at Kotaku, almost completely unreadable. Or SK Anime. Luffy is a terrorist. One Piece anime labeled socialist by Twitch's Hasan Piker. And then it's just gibberish. So I'm going to skip to this video, which apparently has the comment, because I want to hear him say it, not just, like, take it on. I've heard him, because this came up while he was talking to the Houthi pirate the other night. I've heard him talk about it to a degree, you know. Obviously, he's like, you're like him. But I want to hear the original, which I think this is, and just sneak into it. Hasan used to draw. Dragon Ball hasn't aged well. What show made him an... What? Okay, this is actually fascinating.
Yeah. What was the anime you watched after Dragon Ball Z then?
It's been so long. I don't know.
He's just seen so many.
I've seen so many, of course.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dude, they fucking... Are they booger? This is Giguk, by the way. Isn't this Giguk? I used to watch his shit all the time.
Ones that are most memorable and are all also in my top anime. So probably like Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo.
Okay, yeah.
A lot of stuff I watched off of when I came to America in a summer or something. Because like there's no anime when I was growing up in Turkey at all.
Yeah.
Except for Tsubasa for some reason. So it was all like, what is it called? Toonami?
It's like Toonami, Adult Swim, that
Adult
kind
Swim.
of era.
Yeah, Adult Swim Toonami stuff.
Yeah.
So whatever they had on at night, that's what I kind of got into. But
So when did you actually start getting?
That's such a weird way to say that. It's like he heard it. I think I'm actually his son's age. I'm 36. Obviously, I grew up watching Toonami, so it's just I don't know. I liked anime, so I can remember like Toonami nights. I think I can't remember the airing order, but bumps, Helvetica New font, the whole thing. Things that I watched on Toonami, off the top of my head. Inuyasha, Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo, Blue Gender, right? Is that what that one is? The one that has the Trunks dude is the voice. Trigun, obviously, like fucking goated fucking Trigun. I think Bleach was on there after I was getting out of the Marine Corps. Like I watched it at my parents' house, was falling asleep. There are some other ones. Those are the biggest ones that should just always be a part of, like, everyone's. Oh, fucking Big O. Jesus Christ. Almost forgot. Big O. Big O. Big O. Big O. Big O. Bam. 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 Do, 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 do. That shit fucking goes so hard. Big O is lost to time, man, but that shit fucking rocked. Rocked. I think Rurouni Kenshin was on. I guess I'm talking about Toonami. I'm thinking of Adult Swim, but Adult Swim became Toonami eventually. You know what I mean? So like, I get confused. What was on Toonami was like Cardcaptor Sakura. Sometimes didn't watch that one. Sailor Moon. I did watch some Sailor Moon. Rurouni Kenshin, like almost every day after school. What's the Outlaw Star? Fuck. Outlaw Star went so fucking hard. Random ones that I remember from Toonami when I was a kid is like Cyborg 008, I think was on there. I can't remember exactly. It was like a short run. The one scene I remember is like he watches a guy playing a guitar, and then like the guy's like, "Oh, do you think like you?" He's like, "Can I try?" And then he plays like even better than the guy, like and that's pretty much it. But yeah, like, I don't know. That's a strange response. It's like, I don't know. I mean, it's not like a necessarily gatekeeping kind of thing. Like, I don't want to 100% do that, but it's just a weird. You can just say like, I kind of like watch some. It's fine. Like, you don't feel like a fan. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't feel like a fan thing. To just like Cowboy Bebop, like yeah, like the most memorable and like highest rated anime in the West was on Adult Swim back in the day. It actually wasn't on Toonami either. Ghost in the Shell, Standalone Complex, fuck off. Android Kakiter, Jesus Christ, I was 100% wrong with Cyborg 008. Android Kakiter, that's 100% what I was talking about. 100%. Did Ranma 1/2 air on US Toonami Adult Swim? Not while I was watching. I watched Ranma 1/2 as a kid. I was probably too young to be watching Ranma 1/2. I watched that when I watched it on videotape. Like a kid I knew in middle school had all kinds of things. So I watched that. I watched Yu Yu Hakusho on like fan rip videotapes. All in Japanese. Satoshi Kon stuff. Oh my gosh, yeah. Paranoia Agent was on. That I never got to finish Paranoia Agent because it was airing, and then like I had to go to boot camp, and then I never saw the rest of it. Submarine Number 6. Yes, that was on. I didn't watch that one. Do you know how like this is the conversation you have if you're like an anime fan? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like the vibe is different. And it's not like a gatekeeper, but it's like, just don't say that you're a fan if you're not a fan. Like, you have to have seen something more than fucking, like, you know, Akira Toriyama fucking stuff. And then, I'm not going to try to say the Japanese names. Fucking, but more than Cowboy Bebop and fucking Samurai Champloo, which are both from the same guy. Both very good. Cowboy Bebop clears, but like, you gotta get a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like, what's your favorite anime, kid that was born in 2003? Oh, like, well, you know, I love anime. Attack on Titan's pretty good. I've seen some other ones. Naruto, like Naruto. Hasan is definitely a weeb, but he's also admitted he does hours of quote unquote research where he sees what is popular with the kids. Well, you don't have to put research in quote. That's just research. Fair enough. He's like a surface level weeb though.
Into anime, and don't say you're not. Don't say you're not because
I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I read the Naruto mangas when they would come out in America when I was in America in the summers.
Certified weeb right there. Yeah. Already. The fact that you went to the manga.
Yeah. Well, because for me it was like I love this content. It's so unique. It's so different, and I can't get it in Turkey. So like I would park up at like a Borders.
I believe that. Though.
Literally, I would go to like a Borders or a Barnes and Noble, and I was like, oh damn, like you could just like sit here all day and just read these books.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy, because like at the time,
my man was a reed stealer at Barnes and Noble. I can't hate. I did the same thing. That every fucking page I've ever read of a Trigun manga is because I fucking just went into Borders and would hide back there and fucking read it.
I'm 31 years old, so like at the time, I didn't even really think about how I could like we didn't have access to distribution networks we do now. You know, you get
down. You know,
have you seen or read JoJo?
I watched the JoJo ones up to the last one on Netflix.
Part 6, yeah.
I guess part 6, like Florida Prison.
Yeah.
Which one's your favorite part?
Ooh. I never finished part 6. Is the rest of that out on Netflix? I just lost interest. Stone Ocean, I think, is like one of the weakest ones for me. I don't know. I'm not surprised he tried to reboot the show after that, because it's like Stone Ocean. I don't know what it was with Stone Ocean, but I just could not get into it. My favorite JoJo part is probably still part 4, right? Yeah. With Kira. What the fuck is that one called? It's in Morio JoJo Radio. Steel Ball Run. I've got to watch, or I've got to read that one. I want to read the manga for it. Hasan doesn't seem so bad when he isn't talking about politics, to be honest, but then he has a take on geopolitics.
My favorite is Cujo,
I once watched a guy get kicked out of Borders for read stealing.
Is that
he might have outlived
sorry,
it.
Cujo. Well,
JoJo.
Stone Ocean is goated. I don't give a fuck. I'm not saying like it's not good, because it's fucking JoJo, you know? But like Netflix's release schedule was first off like completely fucking cracked. Like I can't wait 3 months is a weird amount of time for just like 6 more episodes of something at the end. And like, I feel like when they left off, like the split in the core or whatever it was like between the last part I saw, I think it was the Pinocchio was running around or whatever. Like that was the last interesting part. And then fucking after that, I think you start with fucking gay priest fucking flex, but I can't remember. Don't know.
Cujo,
Jotara's part 3.
Yeah. So like Kira and all of that.
That's part 4.
Is that part 4?
Part 4
is in part 4 as well.
Yeah.
Which One Piece love to pretend they're not like that, but One Piece fans are like,
my God.
like
One Piece
the
is
worst.
way worse. I promise you, like as someone who watched JoJo and is currently watching One Piece, One Piece was way worse with respect to like how much they were like, bro, you have to watch One Piece. And it's like a biblical text. Like it's too many episodes. So you're like, I don't have that kind of time commitment.
Which arc you? I'm on the New Testament.
Yeah.
It's like I don't have that kind of time commitment. Like I can't do this. This is, and then you get into it and you're like, oh my God, it's so good.
Yes, we did it, One Piece fans.
It's the OG cult in Japan.
Yeah.
It's like the most popular cult.
Yeah.
I have people now in my fan base that just like don't know me for politics, but just like listen to me talk about One Piece, because like I have thousands of fan channels on YouTube, right? Like I don't have any IP or anything, so I'm like, whatever, let it ride. Who cares?
Yeah.
There's this one fan channel that made an edit about how I like used to talk shit about One Piece, and I started watching it. And those videos independently, this channel's got like 10K subs or something, like nothing crazy.
Yeah.
That video got like 100,000 views on its own. And now he's just like detailing and documenting every single episode and every single arc that I like summarize basically as I'm watching it. And like there is a
Why do you have to hurt me like that? He knows I'm about to make fun of him. Bitch, I only got 6K I only got 6K subs. You motherfucker. Talk about 10K ain't that much. I dream of it.
A fan base for
Fucking
that.
Hasan.
Oh, yeah.
Love One Piece. And
Yeah.
they're obsessed with everything.
Which is a very political anime, Connor.
That's okay. Well,
It is a very.
I'm a recovering
Totally,
anime
One Piece is
fan,
very
2 years
political.
clean, so I have no
Yes.
stake in this.
What aspect?
Oh my God! Yes, I love this. Okay, this is gonna piss off everybody, but I'm so right about this. Even though, like, I'm no,
Okay.
like, okay. First of all, every single arc, well, other than like the first couple of arcs, every single arc quite literally details like leftist politics, which I think Oda is. Oda is 100%. Oda is 100% a leftist. First of all. He has a Che Guevara photo in his studio. 100%. Look it up. Established fact. I have assets. I can pull it up.
I got the receipts.
Show. I want to see.
I can pull this up. Okay,
hold
hold
on.
on.
You put
Okay.
that on your phone.
Okay, so that's number one. Number
okay.
two, which arc are you on? I don't want to like spoil anything.
He's
I
Thriller
just
Bark.
finished. Yeah, I just
Thriller Bark.
finished.
Thriller Bark.
Water 7.
Yeah.
Okay, so Thriller Bark kind of sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. That's
Yeah,
like
it
the
kinda
ending is
does.
great, but like everything
Yeah.
else is kind of mid.
Yeah.
But it's
Fuck
fine. 'Cause
off.
what comes after is so good.
Everyone says this.
Okay.
Congrats on 6K. Thank you.
It's
He's
so
right.
good. It's so
Hold
fucking
on, let him
good.
cook. Let him cook.
So,
Let him cook.
but that means you watch Alabaster, right?
Yeah.
Which is definitely political, but like not as aggressively. But it's about like resource deprivation, things like that. But then Skypiea, which
Alabasta's like hyper political. I thought that one's the one that most stands out. Like I'm not like this isn't like a smoke. I would just want to have more of this conversation. That's like crazy though, right? That's like crazy. Like Alabasta's insanely political. Maybe it's not like do we mean political and we mean like controversial, you know? Because like a criminal organization infiltrating the literal government of a nation by creating a scarcity epidemic of water through fucking cloud seeding, which Oda goes into. Cloud seeding is real. It's a real thing that you can do, and it's illegal now because of the same reasons that are talked about in Alabasta, because there's only so much water on Earth, and when you start cloud seeding, you can destroy entire habitats by diverting the water cycle into an area where it shouldn't be. That's just not, that's strange. I guess maybe like for him, it's just not the same politics that he cares about, although that's still crazy because like, you know, it's very clearly like a Middle Eastern country. Like the dude's name is Nefertari Cobra. You know what I mean? And like, that's just a thing that's happened before, like a criminal organization taking over like a small country by like manipulating it from the outside, and the criminal that's taking it over is like directly under the world government, is like a protected, like an arms trading criminal. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's an arms trader necessarily, but like literally runs a gambling operation. In a literal protected by the government, highly dangerous superhuman criminal, you know, that just is allowed to do this. Is that not nuts? And then there's a government cover up after it. Like more than likely the government, which we find out like what, 2 arcs later is what we got Alabasta, and then what's immediately after Alabasta? Skypiea. So we do Skypiea, and then we come back from Skypiea and Water 7. So literally, yeah, like 2 fucking arcs later, we find out that you have the goddamn super spies, whatever it is, Op Zero or whatever the fuck, I can't remember, fucking homie with the big nose, Rob Lucci and all them, they're fucking everywhere spying on people. Like they know all sorts of shit, and there's a bunch more of those. So there's no way the world government doesn't know what he's up to, right? And they're probably cool with it because Nefertari's like one of the least chill, if not the least chill member of the world government, and of like, you know, relative to like the celestial angels and all that sort of shit. So like that's an extremely political arc. I feel like that's probably the first really like political too. Like it has something to do with like actual like governmental operations and shit. But you know, I mean, the first political arc would definitely be fucking Arlong Park, because it's just a direct allegory for like racial vengeance. You know what I mean? It's like it actually tackles one of the most insanely difficult topics of like all time, you know, like just basically being like, we were fucking subjugated and had mean stuff happen to us, so we're just going to do it back. Like maybe that's why I didn't want to talk about that one as much, but like that's extremely like crazy political. Like that's deep philosophical shit and like direct relations to different cultures throughout history have basically engaged in cycles of retribution against each other because of past slights that they didn't let go, and engage in criminal activity in order to basically just, fucking do whatever the fuck they want. And they justify their amorality by saying, like, well, you guys did it to us first. That kind of shit. That's wild. Do you think that if Alabaster were real, Hasan would be rooting for Crocodile? Yo, these guys are overthrowing the monarchy. They're so based. That's like an interesting question. That's such, the conflict there is wild. You know what I mean? Because, and also it just creates the first thing, like Luffy's entire first arc entering the Grand Line is like helping restore a monarch to the throne. You know what I mean? Or like returning a princess to prevent a country from being like overthrown. I digress. I'm gonna listen to a little bit more.
Maybe a little bit too long as an arc, is quite literally about like, indigenous populations being removed from their land and like violently trying to find autonomy and emancipation through violent means directly against like an enemy that is much more powerful than them. Right. That is like, that's like a land back movement, which is inherently very political, very leftist.
I feel like I read a different.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to describe this to him. He's like, "What are you talking about?" It's about.
I gotta hear this a little bit slower.
Yeah. No, One Piece is about having fun. Inherently very political, very leftist. Like that is. So
everyone says this.
Definitely political, but like not as aggressively. But it's about like resource deprivation, things like that. But then Skypiea, which again maybe a little bit too long as an arc, is quite literally about like indigenous populations being removed from their land and like violently trying to find autonomy and emancipation through violent means directly against like an enemy that is much more powerful than them. Right. That is like. That's like a land back movement, which is inherently very political, very leftist.
I feel like I read a different.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I can dig that interpretation of Skypiea. I think that's like kind of on it. I don't know if it's that like overt, as in like we're trying to make a political statement, but like that is the vibe, I would say. Skypiea is definitely very Mesoamerican. It's got that. There's a lot of conqueror imagery. You've got the like literally. The Sky King shows up in a fucking conquistador outfit. So I would have to say that's a pretty like, it's on the nose a little bit, but like, yeah, pretty much.
I know. I was trying to describe this to him. He's like, "What are you talking about?"
It's about, like, man, I saw funny gum man.
Yeah. No, One Piece is about having fun with your friends and being free.
Yeah, what? Exactly.
I mean, first of all,
but yeah,
Luffy is a terrorist. He is. I mean, he literally is. He's fighting.
I hate that you're kind of right.
Yes,
I fucking hate that you're kind of right.
Yeah, he is a freedom fighter in the most like honorable sense of the word. Yeah. He is quite literally fighting against an unjustifiable, corrupt military apparatus that is like holding the entire world hostage. The world government and the Navy. He's literally killing cops. Like he's killing sea cops, and motherfuckers are like, no, that's not politics. What do you mean? That's just like.
Does Luffy kill anybody? It's hard. There's some people that I'm like, I'm pretty sure that guy's fucking dead, and then he's not dead. I was sure Bellamy was dead. Because I didn't spoil myself on that. But he punched Bellamy's head through the fucking ground in Jaya. But who does he even fight from the military? He fights Axe Hand Morgan. Axe Hand Morgan lives. He just beats him up a little bit. He beats up a few fucking cops. I mean, like, it's maybe like the bullet reflect counts as that, but like I don't think it shows any of those guys like dying. A lot of times they're like crawling around or probably seriously injured. But that's also not like, that's not terrorism. That's self-defense against a government that you don't like respect, which is not necessarily, which really isn't terrorism, honestly. Like that's something that maybe you would see the government decrying as terrorism just as a propaganda measure, but like Luffy is a terrorist as like a third person omniscient, knowing everything that happens, is very, very aggressive. But also like just specifically on that, he fights the secret police in Water 7. and beats the shit out of like Rob Lucci and stuff, and like breaks a bunch of ships. Maybe like the ships like break, but like that's not an act of terrorism. That's open combat. You know what I mean? Privateering. Luffy's a privateer, quite literally, which is not a pirate, not a terrorist. He's a privateer. Of his own army that he's building. He's creating his own little micro nation by the end of where I am. But that's like, but being a pirate is not being a terrorist. It's just two different things. As far as being a pirate goes, regardless of obviously Tyler obviously, like that is almost everything that you could like attribute to him is just as a pirate immediately makes more sense because he literally does not go out of his way to hurt anybody that's not already hurting somebody. He very much goes by the red jacketed hero trope of Japanese fiction in general. If the guy wears something loose and red, he's probably not going to fucking kill anybody if he can avoid it. All right? Absorb that and then get it a little bit deeper and you're going to go, God damn it. But red's just a heroic color. It's a main character color in Japan. But yeah, he beats the fuck out of them. They're fine. He punches a slave trader. That guy lives. Who the fuck? I mean, is it anyone in here? Like, yeah, I think random soldiers, but like, I would literally have to see them dead too, because half the time a soldier gets fucked up and you're like, certainly deceased. Okay. I'm pretty like 5 panels later, 2 chapters later, you'll see them all like, ah! I feel like nobody dies in One Piece unless it's like you're for sure dead, except for maybe like the guys in sinking ships. But even then, you never know. You know what I mean? But like a terrorist would actively be killing people. That's like the point of the whole thing. And I'll get into that in a little bit, but like I'm just literally trying to like articulate the Luffy kills cops. Almost literally no evidence. Like literally none. In the entire book. I don't think he kills a single cop. He definitely doesn't kill a single named cop because his grandpa's a cop. It's a much, weirdly enough, it's simplistic at times as One Piece is. I think it's a little bit more complicated than that. Yeah, terrorist is a political designation is what Hasan says. I'm picking up what he's pointing down. I think I'm going to kind of... I'm going to have more to say about it.
I mean, the thing is, like, I remember you saying this yesterday when we were having dinner, and I was just like...
I want to have dinner with Giga.
I think... With One Piece, just because of the art style and just the way things are, funny rubber man. Yeah. Of course, you can take it at that level, and it's still very, very interesting stories. But if you break down some of the stuff that happens, half of it is Luffy going up against a corrupt government or corrupt. I mean, like,
bro, you need to start an anime analysis channel. Like, I would legitimately watch like a 15-minute breakdown
Luffy
of this.
Is a leftist. And
no,
why
but it's
Luffy
like
would play Hogwarts Legacy.
It's I'm not even. Well, there's trans representation in that too, but we're not gonna get into that right now.
Yeah.
But as far as like Oda goes, I mean, there's the I think like Dragons. I mean, I don't want to like spoil anything, but Oda has talked about how Dragon's design was inspired in part by revolutionaries like Fidel Castro.
Yeah.
He has a Che Guevara photo in his
Oda just be like fucking Fidel Castro running out on his kid.
office. I believe. Okay. I don't know this part yet. I'm not at that part yet, so I can't speak on this. Right. But I think
Dragon's always seems like a good guy.
Is literally the same name as Fidel Castro's ship.
Okay, but here's the thing. I think sometimes, especially when you see this a lot in Japanese manga, sometimes authors will put shit in there just because it looks cool.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Right? Sometimes it's like, the curtain is blue kind of like argument. Sometimes you look at something and it's a reference to some Western media or Western history. And a lot of the times it's just Japanese people find Western things that
I have no idea how fucking
it's too many.
I don't, because you can just if you're like an actual hobby channel, you can just accidentally attract like a serious chunk of chuddery chud audience, you know, that will generally keep quiet because it's like, well, I don't want to fucking be banned from this community. So like I'll let most stuff go because I'm an observer, but when people like him show up, I just wonder what the fucking comment ratio on this fucking video was of people just freaking the fuck out.
It's too many coincidences. Listen. The Bolivarian Revolution in Cuba was conducted with a yacht that was used to transport 82 fighters of the Cuban Revolution from Mexico to Cuba. Okay. The yacht's name is Granma. Without a D, Granma, which is the exact same name as a dragon's ship. Like come on, that's not like that. He didn't just see that and was like, because like you have to be like really invested. You have to be a weeb for.
I feel like I would know this in my head. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like I wouldn't have this on. Like, I wouldn't be typing it. I wouldn't have it on my phone. I would just be like having this conversation. It feels like someone wrote this for him. I'm not saying it's something he did, and maybe he just, but like you really are clearly wanting to hit this point if you brought all of your notes with you and your evidence on your phone. But maybe, I think he said they had dinner the night before, so maybe he was like bringing it up and wanted to have it. But like, I don't know. I have all like you know. It might be Tyler brain privilege. I might be experiencing Tyler brain privilege because I always just everything that I think I have like in my head. I might have to go hunt down my references and shit, you know, here and there. But like, the points are always there. I don't know. He just seemed really specific about this.
Communism.
He definitely wanted to say this thing.
I think he's just a weeb for history.
He brought this idea to the show.
Like, with the amount of lore that One Piece has, One Piece has some of the most intricate world building in my opinion, any piece of media.
Oh, absolutely.
It's obviously one of the.
I don't know if I can agree with that. Intricate world building? I would say expansive. I think just the wrong word was used there. Because, I don't know, One Piece isn't particularly intricate. You know, like we kind of just arrive at hockey. You know what I mean?
The most intricate worlds in anime and manga, but I think it's up there with like some of the best worlds that have been in any like book, movie, or TV series, right? And you can't do that without doing a fuck ton of history on just the history of the world. Being for sure being inspired by a lot of events that might have taken place in real world history.
I'm just saying it points too many fingers in one direction. Here's a photo from Oda's Office Space where he has like his.
My man's wild, dude. I respect like. I'll pop over and give my impressions now. I think I've heard enough. But I like fucking that like Hasan brings the boomers concerned about trans people core evidence gathering to like a Giga thing, because that's the same shit. I've watched a bunch of like panel shows, and when you have some like random fucking white hair on like the Dylan Burns Power Hour or whatever the fuck. Like they'll be like, oh, on my phone I've got like 15. Hold on, do you want to see? I got pictures here. Because like if you were gonna be there, like you could just tell him like, hey man, yeah, I got a photo for your editor, whatever. Like I sent it to him. It's just such a strange thing. I think Hasan spends probably too much time in one-sided conversations like this, you know, when he's streaming that long, and maybe he just doesn't know how to deal with other people. Like if he got into an argument with Gigic, you would see his like hand moving like you know, what do you call that? Automatically or whatever the fuck. Subconsciously, you'd see his hand subconsciously trying to click that little fucking like 30-minute mute thing that he does.
Like, subscribe.